Yo, what's up, y'all? So look, I'm bringing you another video today. This is just like that's like open dialogue, open discussion. You know, it's just things that I was just reflecting on today as I'm ending my night. You guys see the board because this video is gonna follow right up after the video that I uploaded from earlier today, from this morning, right? So I just got it from a nap. It was the best nap ever. I advise people to take naps. It's really worth it. Definitely. Dickhead, you sound like, oh man, dickhead, you sound like an old ass man. You talk about some, I advise you to take naps. All right, but anyway, seriously, it's very beneficial. Um, I remember just, I want to say it was a book I was reading. Was it? It was a book. It was. It was called How to Build and Optimize Systems for Success or something like that. I believe that was the name of the book. And it talked about how like the way we look at time, and everyone says time is money, and they put that whole perspective on what time is. And um the book discusses that time is just a system. Something that you just use to your advantage. Then it went into like the arithmetic, scheduling, right? Most people compile and compact their schedules so tightly that they don't give themselves room or anything to breathe, and be able to self evaluate, be able to rest, and be able to, you know, be more efficient with the moves that they make because they're constantly cluttering themselves with things, and for them, they feel like they're able to do more. But I'll give you this example, right? Let's say me and you had to make dinner for today, and I was able to chill in the house, handle some things outside the house, come in the kitchen late at night, prepare some dinner for all of us, um, and take my time with it, right? Versus you, who might have had a super busy day, might have only had 15 to 20 minutes to actually prep dinner and make dinner. I'm pretty sure the quality of the food will be very different between you and I. You get what I'm saying? Because I was able to rest, I was able to prepare, I wasn't overwhelmed, I was able to actually taste things and add towards what was needed to make the dish that much better. So yeah, again, naps are definitely advised, and I realized that in my, you know, development, and I really started to um appreciate the times I get up, the times I go to the gym, the times I decide to, handle certain things on my checklist, the times that I'll allow my schedule to just fluctuate according towards how I'm feeling. When I'm at my highest, when I'm at my, my peaks throughout the day, throughout the weeks, and really maximize on utilizing that energy to get the most out of whatever I'm doing at the moment, rather than continuously operating on a mediocre energy level and trying to fulfill tasks that are so, tedious, or serve very, very importance towards whatever I have going on, right? Cool. Um, so yeah, so as I was saying here, like, looking at my paperwork and all my mail, going through my documents and handling things, which is something that I was never I was never schooled on growing up. Like nobody, I never seen nobody in my family sit there and do any type of paperwork or any type of taxes or any type of bills. I never saw nobody in my family ever pay a bill. Um uh go over things like that, go over receipts, go over preparation for the next year, like shit like that. Like I've never seen that growing up. So for me to be sitting here and kind of doing this, it was kind of like you know, it was just one of those like, okay, bet, like like I'm I'm taking more accountability and responsibility for my own life and not blaming things that I didn't know or wasn't taught as a reason to not do or not have. You understand? that leads me to this, right? I was having a conversation with myself, right? It's funny that I reference having a conversation to myself because all day, every day, I have a conversation with myself. But whatever, I always like to provide like contents. I contents because I'm guessing this stems from like being in school. In college, you always have to reference something, right? Like when you write papers or you do anything in school, you can't just fucking come out come out the fucking woods or shit out your ass. Any type of information that doesn't have any type of lays to it. Like where are you getting this information from? Otherwise, it's just it's like it's a statement without any facts. And most things that you have to write or prepare for presentations or any type of schoolwork, anything like that, you need to have references. You need to have a resource page on where you got this information from to make sure you're not plagiarizing and shit like that. But anyway, I was talking to myself earlier, right? And um, I was like, man, I guess I had an experience the other day that kind of put it back into perspective for me. I said, bro, I hit this point so many times with so many different type of people that for a while I questioned myself about how to reframe, rethink, or reapproach situations that is more easygoing and acceptable um amongst the majority of people that I interact with, right? And that helped me understand that there's layers, right? There's layers to this shit, right? Right. And I believe that all people here on this earth we have those layers, right? And let me break down what I'm saying. I'm a guy that I can be very relatable. I can be very comedic, if that's a word. I don't know if I just made that up, but I can be very funny. I can make a lot of jokes, shit like that, dark sense of humor, whatever kind of humor you want to go with. Like I'm with it all. I love laughing. I love having fun. I love being sarcastic, shit like that, you know what I'm saying? But there's always a threshold on the amount of the capacity of the conversation majority of the times that I have with majority of people, and that there's always this point of distinction that once we cross over this side, a lot of people go very mute, and a lot of people, I can pick up the sense that they feel exempt from whatever we're currently talking about. And sometimes when people feel exempt, they literally turn off their brain and they go into autopilot. Like they're present here, but they're not present or in tune to whatever's being discussed. And one, it can be of not interest. They cannot be interested in those topics of conversation, which is totally understandable. A guy like me, I'm not interested in gossip. When I hear people gossip or when I hear people talk about other people or worry about, other people's business, my ears don't pay them any mind. So that's understandable too. But I think for me is like the things obviously that I feel of is importance towards one, survival of life, two, quality of life, and three, um the fulfillment of life, as far as like educating ourselves on the things that we need to, like I said, have the best opportunity to have the best, excuse me, let me rephrase that. There are things about life that not only I personally feel is important as towards a feel is important as a direct correlation for a better quality of life, but it's facts. You need to know taxes, you need to know insurance, right? You need to know financial literacy, right? You need to have skills, you need to be a good and effective communicator, you need to have a brain that, in my opinion, has common sense mixed with being optimistic, mixed with being very courageous. I think those three tangibles or character values allow you to be a very efficient human being in this world. And a lot of people who are able to acquire those character values, most of them become entrepreneurs, Um, people who make their own money when they want to make their own money, make their own decisions whenever they want to, don't really have a necessary 9 to 5 job. They build and orchestrate businesses that make money from them and take care of them and they people, and they put things into place that allows us to be longevity success, and not just being rich within a time span, but actually being wealthy right over time and generations, and giving the people the generations who come after you a better starting point than where you are at, right? Every time I get to those type of conversations with majority of people become very mute, like I said. And I want to say that one of those things, like I said, I used to take a lot of things personally because I think just as an athlete, as a competitor, to be a ferocious and a athlete that like people like who's in the sport world consider a dog, you gotta take things personally. And like I said, I transitioned from an athletic background, and I remember like I used to literally input things in my mind. I used to literally create things in my mind and scenarios in my mind that someone said this about me. Whole time it was never true, and I knew it wasn't true, but I believed in it enough to get me going to do whatever I needed to do. You see what I'm saying? Within that moment, I fueled myself. I say, remember that guy that fucking looked at you like you wasn't shit 2 weeks ago when you dropped that interception or when you missed that tackle. Remember that guy? Yeah, fuck that guy. You know what? The next time I get out here, the next dude I get a chance to smack on this field, I'm gonna make sure that that nigga who looked at me like that will never look at me like that again. And I used to think like that to myself a lot, right? So as I stepped away from the sports world, I still had that same mantra about people and in life and taking things personally. So every time I got to those type of conversations with people and people will be turned off or mute or not, engage into those type of topics of conversation, I started to take it personally. I started to say, damn, this dude doesn't like me or something. Like, am I becoming annoying now? Like, am I talking too much now? Like, like shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Or am I making this guy, feel uncomfortable or something like that? And I used to try to make adjustments towards, making the situation more suitable. Because like I said, I love people and I want everyone to be engaged and, involved to what's going on. I don't never like to see anyone, feel left out or not a part. And I think that, you know, with that being said, maybe that was some of the reasons why like I, you know, dwelled into drugs a little bit, because drugs at times made me feel a little bit more acceptable by people, like more relatable a little bit, you know, and allow me to flow better in conversations that had no type of, substance to it, you know. But in reality, in my mind, it's not really how I think. So that leads me to this. Start asking myself, who the fuck is this guy? For me to feel uncomfortable in my skin to make this guy feel better within his skin. Who 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 the fuck is of such importance that I'm willing to delegate or neglect who I am and what I care about and what I focus on in life to make this guy more comfortable in his own skin. And again, it's not coming from a place of arrogance. It's not coming from a place of I don't care or anything like that. But when you look in the mirror, you really understand like the bigger picture of things. Imagine continuing to do that in your everyday life for the rest of your life. And then coming to the end of your life and wonder why you didn't fulfill all the things that you felt like you were capable of doing. And the reasoning for that was because every time you got around people who were not on the same thinking as you suppress yourself to allow them to feel more comfortable. You continue to do that over time. So eventually the suppression became normal. You suppress yourself so much that you weren't being true to who you are. That's why I don't really like fuck with conversations or anything where people be like, you need to be humble. You know, you get on social media and shit like that and stuff like that and or you hear like conversations from like podcasts, or any type of, media outlets that discuss being humble, that discuss, being a certain way. And in my mind I always say, who the fuck are you? Like literally like no, like seriously, like who the fuck are you to tell me I should be more humble or I should be more modest about the dedication or the time that I'm willing to put into better myself
I'm sorry, but you've hit the
in
time limit for
order.
this conversation. Please start a new
Hold
chapter and
on.
keep the conversation going.
Sorry, that was my chat GPT. Yeah, but who the fuck are you? Like I said, like for me to do that to myself in order for us to have some type of relationship, like I'm not doing that shit. Excuse me. If you feel uncomfortable in being around me because of how I am and how I operate and what's my approach towards the things that I want, then fuck off. Then get the fuck from around me. Cause I'm not changing who I am. I have intent and I have purpose towards what I'm doing. Obviously, your intent, your purpose is not in alignment with mine. Me and you can be associates, but me and you do not have to be friends. Me and you do not have to spend every day and every time together because if I continue to spend every day and every time and all my time with you, with someone who's not willing to push himself past what they currently are, then I'm only suppressing myself based off your fears of not. You see what you get what I'm saying though? Y'all get what I'm saying though? So no, I'm not being humble, bro. Fuck being humble, bro. What the, who or what the fuck am I being humble for? Like, do people not understand? Like, that's what I mean, right? Like, what or who is God? Like, do people like really understand that concept? Like, God, like we come from God, bro. Why are we on earth trying to impress man? Fuck man. I'm not here to impress you, bro. Fuck you, bro. For real. Like, with all love, kind, and respect, like, fuck you, bro. Why am I suppressing who I am to you? Fuck you, bro. Literally, fuck you. You know why? You will not be the one in my ear to uplift me or believe in me on a consistent daily basis in the way that I need to be for myself. So that way I can have the things that I wish to have in my life to do it better the quality of my life, not only for myself, but for the ones that I care about and for the ones soon to be. You will never make sure that I get to that point in my life. So if I don't get to that point in my life, it's my fault anyway. So fuck you. If it's going to be my fault, I will go ahead and take the responsibility anyway. Fuck you, bro. Seriously, fuck you. You know? And I see it on people's face a lot, bro. Seriously, bro. And I was saying it to myself like, damn, bro, like I'm not trying to be a dick. Like I'm not trying to be an ass when I talk to people. Like you really get to know me, you realize I'm not that type of guy at all. But if you get intimidated or you get, you know, uncomfortable from being around me because of my intelligence or my approach or my tenacity towards overall success of life, then I can't help you with that. That's something, or I'm not responsible for that. How about that one? I'm not responsible for that. Like I told you, every day, bro, in my life since I was a kid, I always ask God, how can I get better? I always ask God, what can I do next to improve myself in life? Like those are things I always thought about as a kid growing up. How can I improve? How can I get better? How can I uplift myself? How can I uplift my family? Like fuck what we didn't know before. Fuck what we didn't have before. I'm here now. I'm going to make a difference now. I'm going to be the reason that we have what we do, or that I have and I do for mine. Especially now into adulthood, realize that my parents is not my responsibility. It's not. They're not my responsibility. That's not how this relationship goes. And I can get into that into a whole nother video. You feel me? And that's why I feel like as a parent, it's so important. Not even as a parent, but as a person, it's so important to treat other people good. It's so important to treat other people with respect and humility, and treat a man as a man, no matter what position or chapter he is in his life. That's so important because God is the ultimate say so and the ultimate doer. When the trajectory in your life changes, God is the one that has that, not man. So who the fuck am I to mistreat you or to talk to you like shit or to in any kind of way belittle you or kick you while you down because of the chapter that you're in life? Who the fuck am I? Or abuse my power and authority and treat you with less respect as a human because you are not in the position in life that I'm in. Who the fuck am I? Seriously, who the fuck am I to judge you and hold you to this expectation of perfection when in my own life I am not a perfect man? Who the fuck am I? Seriously. And as you see, as I'm breaking this down, this is completely different. This is a moral perspective. This is completely different than the intellectual one. This is a moral one. This is a moral being one. And in my heart and in my mind, that's what God makes his judgment on us as people morally. Morally. Seriously. And if you are aware that you're mistreating people, being a fucking dick to people, and you're doing it out of own self misery or own self amusement or entertainment, you're a fucking asshole. Seriously. Especially if that person is not in a good place in their life. Seriously, you're a fucking dickhead. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I seen that play out. It's crazy because not too long ago I actually seen that play out in life. There were guys in position at one point in time during my time being involved in something to where when they had the ball in their hand and the sheep, I'm gonna say sheep at the time, people were just followers. The sheep at the time didn't know the light or didn't see the light. And the shepherd, the guy who's leading them, the one who's supposed to do right by them, the one who's supposed to help them and teach them and show them. Now, I also do want to say this too. Man is requireable, excuse me, man is accountable for why he does not know, does not have what he shall have and he shall know. That is your fault. If you fail to educate yourself or find forms of education to better yourself in this world, that is your fault. And if you don't believe me, your life is a reflection of it, buddy. Seriously. So that is your fault. So if I'm willing or want to show you something, you choose to decline it because of the emotional epitome that you feel for yourself or any kind of way, that is not my problem. That is your problem. if I'm able to utilize my education or my skill set towards bettering a deal for myself in any type of business or any type of thing that I do in this world, I put the time in, I put the work into figuring out what I need to know to give myself the advantage in being successful. I'm not guilty. I don't feel guilty for that. And I don't feel pitiful either for you for not doing that for yourself. But back to what I was saying, there were certain people in position who had those things on the upscale, on the upside of things, while everyone else was not in that position yet. And once the rest of the herd realized and figured out how to get in the same position as the shepherd, when they all got in that position, they left him and they didn't fuck with him the same because they remember how that person treated them when they did not know. You get what I'm saying? To help people and assist people who are choosing and asking how to do these things and is willing to put in the work to do those things. And you're choosing not to because you feel as though they will take something away from you by knowing more than you or having the same advantage as you. You are fucking insecure as a person. You don't understand the law of abundance here in this world with God, and that God has enough for all of us to have and share. You are a minuscule thinker. You think very smallly. If anything, too intuitive of who the fuck you think you are in this world and the importance of who you think you are, how much of impact you think you have. You feel me? And I seen this play out. Seriously, I seen this play out. And I seen the dynamics of the relationship change between a lot of people. And in my mind, I remember foreseeing that a wow, way before. Once I peeped what was going on, okay, this guy is willing to literally put a fucking curtain over your eyes if you allow him to. Multiple. I'm not saying this, I'm not sealing no one out, just multiple, something I've seen happen multiple times. But when you choose to do that to people that will never work out for you in life, it doesn't. It doesn't. And something that else I want to touch bases on is this too. I do believe too that there are certain things that you can wait to share before you share them. I do believe that too. So I'm not going to be um I'm not going to be that guy that tries to fault people for not sharing every ounce of information they know. I'm not going to be that guy either, because there's as far as saturation, I don't think that saturation is the problem. I think that exploiting is the problem. Is that when certain people get lazy and they get in positions, they exploit ideas or concepts to their advantage to fill that gap of what's considered laziness or a work ethic to do things the right way. So instead, they decide to exploit the system or to exploit something to their advantage. And they don't understand that when they do that, they shorten the fuse of the success of this thing that was once helping a lot of people to now only being accessible to very few. So I do understand that in life as well too. So I'm not, you get what I'm saying? So I get it, but like I said, man, fuck being humble. Fuck all that shit. I'm not being humble for you, bro. Fuck you, bro. If you feel uncomfortable from being around me because of my insider perspective at an early age or wisdom, where the fuck you want to call it, I don't believe that I know it all either. Best believe that. And I believe that's why I have the advantage to continue to grow and expand myself, because I never assumed that I know everything. There's been so many conversations that I have with people who are informative towards me with information that I already knew, but I tell them that I don't know. So that way they can give me not only a refreshment, but maybe they can put something in a different perspective that allow me to understand the same concept differently. And that's the power of interpretation. That's the power of information. It's the way you interpret the information that allows you to utilize it to your advantage. I can give you a history lesson on something, but if I do not present it to you in a form that's applicable to you, then you will have no usage of this information. But if I show you in a different way that's more suitable for you, I can spark something in you that can be, that can that can change the whole trajectory of your life. It's just all about intake. So kind of just wanted to leave that video at today. And like I said, this is my shit. You watch my videos or you're part of anything, that I have going on, like this is my shit. If you get to know me as a person, you get to understand me as a person, you will see what type of man I really am. But if you judge from the outside looking in, join the fucking crowd. Join the rest of them. I don't give a fuck if you feel uncomfortable for being around me. If you view me or think of me in any kind of way other than being great or being good, then fuck you. I don't care about your opinion. Opinion has no power. Fuck your opinion, bro. Seriously. You can express it and share it. It won't shift or change anything that I have going on. You get what I'm saying? Fuck it. Be yourself. Be the greatest version of yourself in this one lifetime that we have. You only get a chance to live it. As far as we all know that's here. You're only here one time as far as we all know that's here. Make the most of it. Make the best out of it. Be the best version of yourself that you can be, you know? Don't suppress your mind, your emotions, and who you are to make other people feel more comfortable. Fuck that. Why? For who? For what? Always be respectful. Always treat men with respect. Always take care and love people. And if you have the opportunity to do something for someone, please don't hesitate to do it. You feel me? So that's gonna be this video for today. Like I said, it's just something I wanted to share with y'all as I was just concluding my night, and I was just thinking that to myself, like, all right, cool. Again, I don't even care about the I told you so no more in life. I don't even care about, you know, the previous people in my life who maybe didn't believe in me in the ways that I believed in myself, because those situations and those times only reassured who I am as a man, and only reassured who I am as a person, and only reassured the confidence that I need to reinsure within myself to reestablish and repurpose my existence here in this world. So thank you for real. I have no resentment. I have no type of animosity towards any of you in any kind of way. I speak purely and truly from the heart. But when I say this shit is mine, it's not gonna be I told you so, because I told myself. Before I told you, I told myself. And that's what's most important. So y'all, more success to y'all, man. And yeah, I really appreciate y'all for real. And yeah, I'm gonna holla at y'all. No bullshit.